Welcome to my channel.
And this is English Podcast Station.
Today we're jumping into something really practical, I think. It's all about, booking a table at a restaurant.
Right, but specifically how to handle that in English.
Exactly. And the source material we've been looking at for this, it's really geared towards English language learners.
Yeah, very focused. The idea is clear, simple communication for this exact task. They don't beat around the bush.
So our mission really is to pull out the essentials from all that. The key phrases you need, the actual steps, maybe some cultural things to know.
And even some tips on how to, actually practice and remember it all.
Yeah, so that you, listening, can feel hopefully a bit more confident next time you need to make that call or click that button, whether you're traveling or living somewhere new.
Or even just want to practice your English skills.
Right. So let's start right at the beginning. Why book? I mean, why not just show up?
Well, the sources point out the obvious, really. Sometimes restaurants are just full.
Yeah, especially the popular ones or at certain times.
Exactly. Friday night, Saturday night.
Yeah.
You might just get turned away if you haven't booked. No tables left.
Oh, I know that feeling. Standing there hungry.
It's not great. So that's why booking ahead or making a reservation is often, necessary. It guarantees your spot.
Okay. And the sources say the most sort of traditional first step is
Picking up the phone. Just
Yeah.
calling the restaurant directly. Still very, very common.
Makes sense. So you dial the number, the phone rings, they answer. What's the first thing you say? How do you start the conversation?
The guides really stress being direct. Get straight to the point.
Yeah.
The simplest phrase they highlight again and again is, I'd like to book a table.
I'd like to book a table. Okay. Simple, clear.
Yep. No messing around. It tells them exactly why you're calling. Especially useful for learners, right? Less chance of getting tangled up.
Definitely. Any other options they suggest?
Another really common one is maybe a bit more specific. Do you have a table for 2 or for 3 or 4, whatever you need?
Ah, okay. So you give the party size right away.
Yeah, it gives them a key piece of info immediately.
Got it. So I'd like to book a table, or do you have a table for 2? What if you're not quite sure when you want to go yet? Just checking possibilities.
Good question. You might need to ask about availability first. So something like, what time is available?
Or maybe, can I book a table for this evening? Something like that.
Exactly. That opens it up for them to tell you what slots they actually have free.
And one thing these resources really, really hammer home is not just knowing these phrases.
Oh, yeah. You have to say them, practice them out loud.
Why is that so important, do they say?
It's about building confidence and muscle memory, too, almost. Saying, I'd like to book a table, please, over and over makes it feel more natural.
So when you're actually on the phone, it just comes out easier.
Precisely. Less hesitation, less panic.
Yeah.
Repetition builds that fluency.
Right. It's not just about reading it in a book. Okay. So you've called, you said, I'd like to book a table. What are the absolute must-have details you need to give them next?
The core information, the day you want the table, the specific time, and crucially, how many people are in your party.
Day, time, number of people, the essentials. And how should you phrase that? Simply again.
Keep it simple, keep it direct. That's the theme. They give examples like this Friday at 6.
Okay.
Or tomorrow at noon, or maybe next Saturday evening. Just the facts.
And if you have a specific time in mind, but need to check if it's free.
Then you combine it, right? Like, do you have any tables available at 8 p.m.?
Gotcha. Day and time. And the number of people, that's obviously critical for them.
Absolutely fundamental. They need to know if you need a small table, a big table.
Yeah.
It affects their whole floor plan.
And this ties into what the sources call peak hours, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Peak hours, the really busy times.
Usually.
Dinner time, mostly. They usually pinpoint somewhere between, say, 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. as being the absolute busiest in many places.
Right. So the advice then is,
If you want to eat during those prime time slots, book ahead. Book early if you can. Don't leave it till the last minute for 8 p.m. on a Saturday.
Increases your chances of actually getting in. Makes sense. Okay. Day, time, number of people. But what else is needed to lock it in?
Your name. You have to give your name so they know who the booking is for.
Right. So they can find it when you arrive or maybe call you if there's an issue.
Exactly. Name's the final piece of that basic puzzle.
Okay. That seems to cover the standard booking. But what if you need something extra? A specific spot or help with something?
Ah, special requests. Yes, the resources flag these as being very useful in real life. Knowing how to ask can really improve your experience.
Okay, like what sort of things? Give us some examples they mention.
Common ones are things like asking about seating. Can we sit outside? If the weather's nice.
Or maybe near a window.
Yeah, can we sit near the window? That's a classic. Or more practical things like, we need a high chair for a baby.
Right. Or accessibility things.
Definitely. Is it wheelchair accessible? That's an important one for many people.
And when you're making these requests, politeness is probably key.
Oh, absolutely. The guides mention this using please and thank you. It's just, standard polite culture when talking to staff.
Yeah.
Good manners go a long way.
Simple but important. Okay, so basic booking, special requests. Now, you mentioned these materials are for English learners. Do they touch on how things might differ slightly depending on where you are?
They do, yeah. It's a useful point. Even between English-speaking countries, there can be small differences in habits or terminology.
Like what?
Well, the big one they highlight is the difference between the U.S. and the U.K.
Okay.
In the U.S., you'd almost always say you want to make a reservation.
Reservation. Got it. And the UK.
In the U.K., people often say make a booking or book a table. Reservation is understood, of course, but booking is very common.
Ah, booking versus reservation. Good one to know. Could save a tiny bit of confusion.
Exactly. Same meaning, just slightly different word choice.
Any other sort of cultural notes they mention?
They briefly mentioned that in some places, like maybe some smaller, more traditional spots in Japan, calling ahead might be strongly preferred, almost expected, over online methods.
Interesting. Maybe more about that personal touch or just how they operate?
Could be. And that actually leads into another point, online booking. It's huge now, right?
Totally. Do the resources cover that side of things?
They do, yeah. They acknowledge how common it is. They even include phrases for after you've booked online, like when you arrive at the restaurant.
What would you say then?
Something like, I made a reservation online, or I booked a table through the app. You're just letting them know how you booked.
Okay, so it covers both phone and digital routes. Good. Right, so you've done it, you've booked the table, you've arrived at the restaurant. What's the last step the sources talk about?
Confirmation. Just making sure everything's sorted when you get there.
How do you do that? What do you say at the front desk?
A couple options. You can ask directly, can you confirm my reservation? Or maybe, if you think it should be ready, just checking if my table is ready.
But they emphasize one phrase in particular, don't they? As being sort of the standard way.
Yes. This is probably the most useful one to remember for arrival. It's, do you have my booking under your name?
Ah, yeah. Makes sense.
Or the statement version, I have the booking under your name. You give your name, they find you on the list. Simple and efficient.
Perfect. Okay, so that really walks us through the whole thing, doesn't it? From deciding you need to book, making contact, giving the info.
Making special requests, understanding those little cultural bits, and then confirming when you arrive. It's a clear process.
And they boil down some key vocabulary too, right? Just to make sure those core words are clear.
Yep. Quick recap of the main ones we've sort of touched on. Book a table or make a booking. That just means reserving your spot.
Right.
Reservation. Another word for booking, especially common in the U.S.
Got it.
Available means free, not taken.
Yeah.
Like asking if a table is available near the window.
Yeah.
Pretty self-explanatory. For special requests.
Yep.
Special request. Anything extra you ask for, like a high chair or a specific location.
Okay.
And confirm. This means to check something is correct, like confirming your booking.
Those simple definitions are helpful. So we've got the steps, the phrases, the vocab. But what's the biggest overarching message from these learning resources?
Practice.
Okay.
Absolutely. 100% practice. Consistent practice is what builds the confidence and the actual skill.
They use that analogy, don't they?
Yeah, the gym analogy. Learning a language is like going to the gym. The more you practice, the stronger you get.
Love that. It's not enough just to know it intellectually.
Not at all.
Yeah.
You have to do it, say the phrases out loud, role play the conversation, maybe.
And they also say, don't worry about getting it wrong.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Mistakes are totally normal. They're part of learning. It's how you figure things out and get better.
So, wrapping this up for you, the listener, we've basically taken these guides designed for English learners and distilled the core process for booking a table. How to start.
What info to give, how to ask for specifics, being aware of those little differences, and how to confirm it all.
It gives you a kind of structure, a plan for that specific interaction.
And the language you actually need at each point.
But the real key, the thing that runs through all the advice, is that practice element. Saying it out loud, trying it out, that's what makes the difference.
Yeah, actually using these steps and phrases like the ones laid out in these practical guides, that's what really builds your confidence for the real situation. It makes it less daunting.
Definitely. So here's something to think about. We focus today on just one task, booking a table. Seems small, maybe.
But pretty essential sometimes.
Right. But think about it. If you can build your confidence in this specific practical English task just by learning the steps and practicing the key phrases, how might applying that same focused approach to other common situations, asking directions, ordering coffee, buying something in a shop, how might that open up a whole new level of comfort and connection for you when you're navigating the world in English?